We'll be starting the webinar. A warm welcome to all the delegates who's joined the amazing webinar. And this webinar is about talking about how you manage your lifestyle, how to making your life in a good, healthy, and well-being. So today, the webinar topic is about striking a balance, and managing well-being and work life and many things. So this is about the lifestyle tricks. End of the webinar, you'll be having in your mind that how to manage some time management in your hand, and how to be more productive and more the task oriented. So overall, if you have any questions, like if you have any queries, you can able to text in the chat board. In between, we can answer the question, or end of the session, we can have the interaction session. So let's go to the webinar. Today, the topic is about striking a balance, managing work, life, and health. I think everybody is aware of today the strategy, how we are managing, how we are balancing our life and health. I think we can able to, in this hectic schedule, we are much more busy with our life and much more busy with the managing work. So these are some tips and tricks so that you can able to add in your day-to-day activity. And the introduction to the speaker. My name is Manoja Kalakanti. Myself, I'm working as a senior nutritionist in the Fit Indian, having 9 years of experience in expertise in a diet plan, nutrition, and fitness. And I'm the chief advisor and full-time coordinator to Fit Indian. And my achievements, I'm the IDA member of NIN, and I'm been awarded excellence certificate in the nutrition in the different in the Label Body Care Private Limited organization. And I have a passion to learn many courses on the biochemistry, how it is related with the health and the metabolism too. And in my whole career, I have done more than 300 people COVID-19 consultations, pre and post COVID, from Apollo Home Healthcare Limited. And I've been presented an amazing webinar for the Essential on COVID-19 time. So these are the experience of mine in my career of 9 years. So let's go to the main topic of the webinar. In this webinar, what you will be learning, because end of the slide presentation, you should take some inputs of the webinar. What are things you need to input in your day-to-day activity? So what are the points we need to cover in this topic? So these are the 5 pillars of topic I'll be covering in the webinar. The first point is talking about the time management skills. The second thing, foster healthy habits. The third one, work-life balance. Fourth one, mental health support. And finally, nutrition and wellness. Everybody is aware of the each and every task in the webinar, like time management, healthy habits, work-life balance, mental health support, and nutrition and wellness. How we need to impact, how this is time management impacting, how the healthy habits are going to impact our health, how to balance yourself. So I'll be giving a detailed picture and small tips on each and every pillar of the webinar. The next slide is about the time management skills. Here, why we have to prefer the time management skills? Because everything, whatever the productivity work is there, whatever the activity work is there from day to day, if we take from the housewife to the professional men worker, the time management is important. Without time, you can't able to reach your destiny or reach your task orientation. How the time management skill is important. For example, we are working as a working woman. She has to wake up in the morning. She has to schedule the time for the kitchen and for herself doing the morning routines, and the time she spent over in the workplace is more. So how she is able to manage the time, that is most important. In this time management, we are spending 8.5 hours in a day. So on the whole, in a week, you are spending 42 hours. For every software employee, this is the time management. If we compare this time management, the housewife, I think housewife is taking more than a working professional. Why? Because she wakes up in the morning, she gets ready with the whole family, and she is not taking care of her own time management. So all the housewives has to take care of the time, eat on time, make the family healthy. So she is the one, she has to take care of each and every skill of the time. And other thing is that if you're spending time, quality of time, if you want to be the more productivity, you we need to take the time management. In this time, every time has their own specification. For example, 8.5 hours you are spending in the time, and household activities in a day we are spending in a weekend. For a working professional, 2.3 hours for own kind of routine. Whereas housewife, no, she's spending all the 24 hours in the work time activity only. So she need to be more smarter to pick the time management, and especially the sleep. The more often we are spending 7.5 to 8 hours of good quality of sleep. I think everybody nowadays we are spending less quality of sleep. I think we need to get an habit to get a good quality of sleep, and especially some leisure activity and the traveling, we are spending 2 to 3 hours in a day. So we need to make sure that the time, whatever you're making the time activity, it's not in the stress. We need to enjoy the time management. We need to prepare the calendar. We need to make sure that the time management is not missing, because with the time only the everything comes in the sequence. The morning routine to daytime, and having a good quality of sleep, and being more protected to your priorities, that is most important. So this is how the time management is important. So always prepare a prior calendar so that it makes us easy. If at all it's some or other the time is missing, that some the priorities are missing, make sure that for the next time you have to fill the calendar so that this is missing in my time. For example, this week you missed your morning routine of your activity. Make sure that that has to be replaced back, so that you need to be healthy and well-being. We need to make sure that time management is important. And going to the next slide about foster healthy habits. I think everybody is well known of foster healthy habits. Everybody has been put on healthy habits in the practice from post-COVID to pre-COVID. We have seen lot of changes in the people who are using. They're very taking care of a healthy diet. They're taking they're doing the workout. They're doing the exercises. Somebody has joined the yoga, pranayama. They're doing the good practices. Why? Because they have well known the importance of oxygen, and well known the importance of the health. So they don't want to go with that pandemic situation once again. So they have well equipped with all the things. If at all we see the icons, like every taking one apple keeps away with the illness, or eating a good antioxidant foods in your diet, and make sure that they are monitoring with the healthy gadgets. Like nowadays we are getting in the market in the many gadgets, like monitoring your blood sugar if you have any chronic conditions, or monitoring the blood pressure. So these are one kind of healthy habits where we are keeping in a practice. I think this should be keep on going on, so that it gives an alert on the health and our well-being. And especially always we are washing our hands and we are sanitizing ourselves still. We didn't stop still the practice is on still going on, and doing the activity part, the routines, whatever we are maintaining. And some joined the gym. They started doing the workouts in the gym, because after the COVID, the many people had put on practice of joining the gym or doing some activities. I think this is a good practice what we have done. So before going to this, I have a question for you. I have a question for you in this, for the poll, as a poll question. So before going for a healthy habits, I have a poll question for you. How often do you take vacation or extended breaks in the work to relax and recharge? Please do give your options if at all you have any queries, or if you have any things. Because nowadays, after the many changes of the pandemic, everybody is taking a good vacation and getting relaxed from the work. So I think you have any queries, we can have a discussion on this poll question also. And coming back to the webinar part, so what are the healthy habits? Can any user or who are being participated in the webinar can have a question? What makes you feel good to be healthier? Which food is a healthy make you more happier or healthier? Can you mention one food? Somebody likes to eat pizza on the weekend. Somebody likes to eat like junk food. So in that way, if at all you text me in the chat board, I can able to give the modification. All questions are different if you are actively participating in the webinar, giving your query, so that if for example you are having a pizza in a weekend. So I can able to tell you in what way you can able to have a modification on this, because everything, the life modification is the depending upon the healthy habits. See, healthy habits is nothing but you should stop eating your cravings or you stop eating your likes and dislikes. It's not like that. The only thing is that you need to get modification of your replacement of your food. In that way, as a nutrition professional, I'll be helping you. Please text your query in the chat board so that you can able to come up with some new ideas in the interaction session. And the next session is talking about the work-life balance. I think this is the most priority part of our work schedule, because how work is important, even though balancing life is also important. How do you, what are the, now you can ask me the tips, what do you want in this? You can ask me in the chat board how to balance yourself. What are the things to be added in your work balance? So we'll have one poll question on this. The next question is that, do you feel supported by your employer in maintaining a healthy work-life balance? Because the topic is about talking about the work-life balance. So whether it is supporting you, just text me so that we can have a discussion on this. Why we need to talk about the work-life balance? Because work-life balance is about the quality of life, making sure of financial stability, making sure of the what we say switch to the good habits, and especially making stress-free workplace. Make sure that in the workplace, take a short breaks so that it will make sure that you're having a movement in your activity. And next thing, stay hydrated, because staying hydrated, I know that everybody is drinking water, but already we have already the body is made out of 60 to 70% of water content. Even every organ has a water deposition, like liver contains like 31% of water, muscle and kidney contains 79% of water. Because why I'm mentioning this? Because everybody will suggest that to take 3 to 4 liters of water, but it depends upon your body composition, your body height and weight. According to that, the water preference has to be taken, because in the bones already the water is there, 31% of water. But if you're hydrating, what happens? It has a good lubricant, and you can have make sure that you don't have any future problem with osteoporosis or knee pains. And work-life balance. If a work-life balance is stress-oriented, most of the pandemic issue like 10.1% of strategy are prone to pre-diabetic or diabetic. Why? Because we are taking lots of stress in the workplace. So that kind of workplace is like, we need to make sure that we need to make sure the stress lower down, taking a short breaks and little bit of activity. In the weekends, if at all you do a small routine of activity, you can able to balance your work life. And especially the work life is nothing but you need to make sure that you need to take proper taking of fiber content also, because if you take lots of fiber in your diet, for example, men need 32 grams of fiber and females need 28 grams of fiber. If fiber content is more in your diet, what happens? You can able to wake up early in the morning, and you don't feel that you feel so refreshed, so that you can able to focus on your work, you can able to prioritize in your work, and make sure that this diet to be added. So we'll have another poll question on this interaction, talking about the work-life thing. And I have another question for you as a poll question. Which aspect of your life do you find most challenging to balance with work? That is family, health, or personal time. I think this is a major question. I think you need to be answered, because in a work profile, in a work balance life, sometimes we miss our personal time also. So how well we can balance? I think this is an interaction question in the end of the slide, so that we'll be discussing on this, because how well the balance is there. As a housewife, how well she's balancing, and how's a working profession, how the men and women are coping up with the personal life, and especially how they are taking less screen time. If you're taking more, if you're concentrating on the previous slide, as mentioned, the first slide is about the time management. If they're maintaining the time management and taking the healthy habits, might be they can able to manage their life balance, because most of the Stress hormones are the one reason where we are prone to more of chronic conditions. That chronic conditions can be the diabetes, hypertension, and edema in the feet. Edema is nothing but we are sitting for the longer time. We are not giving the mobility. So there is a fluid content in the feet to be filled. So in that way, we need to make sure that lifestyle modification like salt content has to be reduced, and taking lots of fruits and veggies in your diet. Have a very smart meal planner for the non-vegetarian foods, which are like lean meat and low fat. If at all you are managing this, automatically you're in the track of well-being of life. And then coming to the major important slide is mental health support. If at all you are keeping a track on time management, if at all we are keeping a track on healthy habits, keeping a track on work-life balance, I think these three pillars are the most important to having a mental support. Because if one pillar is missing, automatically your mental health will be disturbed. You'll be more on stress, and you'll be having a mood disorders, more of anxiety in the work. You get more pressurized, where indirectly you'll be starting some kind of impact on your sleep disorders. And when you have a good sleep, or when you are not having a proper sleep, scoring sounds are coming. So scoring is nothing but that is again related to your heart issue. So if you are maintaining these three pillars in your day-to-day activity, automatically the mental health support will always there with you. And for this, you need to do some practices. You need to be some prioritize. So before going to the next description on this topic, we'll have another poll question for you. Would you be interested in learning healthier alternatives for your favorite cheat meals? Because why I'm talking about the favorite cheat meals? Because when we are talking about the mental health support, if you're disturbed with your work, or you're not getting a proper productivity of your work, if you're not able to maintain your financial support, so what happens? You start overeating. And especially housewives also a little bit mentally stressed. They are like, they're 24 hours by 7 they'll be working out, and they're taking care of morning schedule to evening schedule. So what way the housewife has to tackle the situation? They need to go for they need to go for a little bit of half an hour walk, or a 1 hour walk in the weekend, so that they need to get some time. So that if at all we are taking time for ourselves, we can able to stabilize the day-to-day activity, and we can able to balance our work-life thing, and we can able to maintain the healthy habit practice. So one is interconnected to the other. If you're not taking a proper diet, if you're eating a lot of junk foods, if you're habituated to take lot of coffees in the light of caffeine in the night when the work is going on, that means you're not doing your proper time management of your priority goals. If you're able to maintain your time, automatically you're lesser to your screen time. If you're less to screen time, you'll be having a healthy lifestyle. Healthy lifestyle means a work-life balance is there. So make sure that you are taking, if at all you need any support in this, we need to take the professionals, a healthcare coach or a nutritionist, so that she can able to give a diet concept, or she can able to give some tips, like having one cup of a green tea can able to reduce your mental stress, or taking one glass of jeera water, or like drinking warm water make you a little bit of stress free. Because these are the tips to be added in your diet. Not every time the supplements are required. Some people take a medication for getting a good sleep. If you want to have a good sleep, try to drink a turmeric milk, or what we say haldi doodh. It is a good tryptophan. Once you drink a glass of milk, you can fasten asleep, and you can have a complete well nourished sleep, because sleep is that important. Because sleep has a major impact on the mental health, because every organ is like repair and tear. If What is the meaning of repair and tear? Because if you're having a good sleep of 7.5 to 8 hours in a day we are spending, so every organ is taking some time to repair. Even though we are sleeping, but our oxygen levels, our organs are working for us to stay as active. So for that, we need to take an initiative step on the diet and work balance, and priority taking care of our time management too. And talking about the last pillar of nutrition and wellness, I think everybody is aware of that. So before going to the description on the slide, we'll have another poll question for you. kindly answer for this, and any discussion we discuss in the question and answer session. The question is about, do you practice any form of relaxation or mindful techniques to manage stress? I think it's a very good question for all the working professionals and the housewives, so that we can have an interaction session on this question, and I can able to share the tips on it. So, how the nutrition is nothing but taking the all carbs or the all macronutrients into your consideration, and taking a complete balanced diet in your day-to-day activity, what we are taking as a break. In this nutrition, how many are taking a good breakfast in the morning? I think most of the 60% of Asians are skipping the breakfast in the early morning, I think. But do you have, what is your favorite breakfast recipe? Can you mention in the chat board, so that we can able to talk on the nutrition value. We can talk about the impact on the health, because breakfast is a very fuel energy to your body. As in a previous slide, I talked about the mental health support. If you're not taking a proper breakfast on time, might be the fuel energy is less from your brain functioning, might be you're having a less signal from your brain functioning, because breakfast is the main fuel for your body. Not only main fuel body, for the brain functioning, for the good productivity of your work, we need to have a good healthy breakfast with a combination of cereal, protein, and good fats in your dining table. And we need to talk about the portion control. Why need to talk about the portion sizes? Because always we need to take either 1 cup or 1 spoon or 1 teaspoon. Always we talk in this. But a housewife is a good nutritionist in our home. She makes a healthy cooking for us. So make sure that whatever the portion she is cooking, or a working professional carrying in the boxes, that is also one kind of serving portion only. So if at all you're maintaining that kind of consistency in your box, so that's enough. But meanwhile, make sure that avoid sugary beverages. Try to hydrate self with water, or try to add on some coconut water, because if you take more of sugary beverages, might be our life, what are the sedentary lifestyle, we prone to lots of chronic conditions. As I mentioned in the previous slide, the chronic conditions can be diabetes, hypertension, and edema on the food. So if at all you're limiting your sugar drinks, that's more good. And importance of vitamin and minerals. If at all you want to have a good sleep in your diet, or good sleep as a quality of sleep, the vitamin B12 has a major role in our sleep, because everybody thinks that drinking a cup of green tea is enhancing a good sleep. But when you have a deficiency of vitamin B12, whatever the medication you're taking, whatever the counseling you're taking from the professionals, that's no use. You have to take care of vitamin B12, because as of science, in the sedentary lifestyle, vitamin B12 has many benefits. The food source are like fish, chicken, eggs, nuts, and low-fat milk and milk products. These are all vitamin B12 things, and little bit of in a micro content you'll be getting from the green leafy vegetables. So make sure that if you include this kind of foods when you're in a stress oriented, or you're being like a stress thing, these are the foods to be activated, because everybody has to know what is vitamin B12, how is going to impact on the weight loss. If you're not correcting this kind of vitamins and minerals in your diet, we have seen lots of obesity issues, lots of belly fat, and lots of conditions like PCOD, thyroid. So everything is related with the diet. Everything is related with the macronutrients and micronutrients. So these are to be added in our regular diet. And other thing important, for especially for housewives or the working professionals, awareness on nutrition labeling. How many are aware that when you buy a product as a grocery shop, have you read the nutrition labeling? So I want this question in the chat board, so that how many are aware of that. Can I get an answer on this? Because we go for the market. We buy many things. We buy from Ratnadeep, we buy from many grocery shoppings, or we buy from things. But in the normal one, we don't get any nutrition value. But when you go with the class one shopping groceries, we find all nutritional benefits in that. Have you read that? Whether it is a preservative product, or it is a lots of salt content, Ever you read any kind of tag in the nutrition labeling? Why I'm raising this point, because nowadays we are ordering non-vegetarian from Zepto, like we are eating beef, chicken, and prawns. But this is important, because whatever you're getting in the market from the Zepto, they are stored products, and they add little bit of additional sodium to it to have a longer preservating. So for a instance, we can have an order in emergency, but not in a regular basis, because this sodium content can harm us. This sodium content will harm our mental well-being, work-life balance, and healthy habit, because salt is has to be taken in the limited portion. That is what we need to prefer. That's the reason you need to be aware when you buy any of the product from the preservative product from the grocery shopping. And especially if you want any more in this, some products we have some nutrition consultancy also. In this, you as a nutritionist, how much consistency is there? As a nutrition, what is the benefits of taking the fruit? So in this, nowadays we are getting in the market, in the grocery shop itself. So we have another poll question. We'll see the other poll question meanwhile. The last poll question is about how often do you consult a healthcare professional before starting a new supplements? Because nowadays, why I'm talking about supplements, somebody is asking that eating the supplements is healthy rather than diet, so that we can able to maintain healthy. But supplements are recommended with the doctor, with the professionals. As a nutritionist, I'll tell that always taking a good amount of balanced diet, trying to include your macronutrients like calcium, magnesium, selenium, phosphorus, potassium. These are the macronutrients. And as I mentioned about the micronutrients, vitamin B12, fat solubles, these are what fat solubles, what are you getting in the cooking oil. So these are the things you need to be monitored. And especially when when you have a choice of cooking oil, try to change. As a tip, you have to change the cooking oil for every 1.5 months. Change the brand or change the nutrient what the present. For example, if you're taking as a freedom, in this ADEK is there fortified K means fortified potassium is added to the cooking oil. The next time take for the rice bran, because rice bran is good for the heart and good for the working who are going for the gym, who is doing the beginner as an exercise. So these are the things you need to include in your activity. That's the reason when you go for the nutrition, when you go for the grocery shopping, try to track the nutrition content, what is the portion amount on, have a aware on that, because that will help you to have a good knowledge on the nutrition and knowledge on the well-being. And coming to the benefits, overall, we have talked about the 5 pillars of our webinar topic, striking a balance. So when you are in the track, when you are maintaining all the things like maintaining your healthy habits and maintaining the mental health support by doing some yoga practices, or your joining your healthy choices like your weekend activity, and these are the benefits what you see. What are the benefits out of it? You are taking priorities, you are taking self-care and maintaining the consistency overall, planning and organization, focus on your health. Focus on your health means for every 6 months or every 3 to 6 months, you have to go with a complete body checkup, because this is mandatory when you go with a consultation part. This gives a consistency of your health status. This gives, because after now the study says that once we cross 30, there is a deficiency in the calcium, because you are not exposed to too much of sun. We've been like working in the office and not exposed to in a weekend. At least practice try to take a practice of 45 to 1 hour, go for a long walk, or when you're going for the grocery shopping, try to use the steps like walking, so that this will help you to have a lubricate on your bones, so that you can able to maintain a well-being lifestyle. And always, if you are maintaining the consistency, focusing on your health, and this on the whole gives a complete balance of your work-life balance. If at all in this pillar anything is missing, any of your work track is missing, like you're not taking proper amount of nutrition, proper amount of health, you're not adapting a good healthy habits in your day-to-day activity, if you're not focusing on the time management, what happens, you're missing your work-life balance. To maintain the work-life balance, everything to be in the consistency. So on this consistency, on the work-life balance, do you have any questions, or do you have anything? Do you have any queries on this? Please mention in the chat board so that we can have an interaction session on this. So the next thing about, before going to the other slide, how what are the things, like from previous, from post COVID to pre COVID, what are the changes, adaptations we have done, and what are the habits we have changed? Can you mention in the chat board so that we can able to have a discussion on the tips? I can able to share some tips on it. So please do mention in the chat board on the session so that I can able to have a discussion on this. I'm waiting for your questions so that we can have a good interaction on the well-being, lifestyle, nutrition, and if you have any doubts in the weight loss tips, if at all you're having a doubt on how to manage the time management, or how to schedule a good quality of sleep, how to manage yourself. So I'm waiting for your questions in your chat board. If you are actively participate, we can have a good interaction session. I'm waiting for your questions, please. Wait for other 2 minutes for the users who I'm waiting for the question so that we can have one interactions question so that it makes us alert. I need your active participation, you delegates, because this is like an interaction session. Moving to the next slide, the question and answers. I'm waiting for your questions so that we can have a good interaction session. Okay, I have a question for you. So, can everybody has a myth, like having a white rice will have a belly fat? Why can't we have a discussion of white rice versus brown rice? You raise your hand so that we can start discussion on this. Okay, no worries. I'll be answering for this question. White rice versus brown rice. If at all you see that we all Asians are the rice eaters, and we are the staple rice eaters. So the difference between the white rice and the brown rice is that white rice has a more of starch. The starch get longer time for the digestion. That in turn converts into the fat. That's the reason as a nutritionist we prefer uh, in the customized diet to prefer a brown rice, because brown rice has a less starch and it has a low glycemic index, because the food when we prefer low starch, we have a less prone to chronic conditions, less prone to the fat depositors, less prone to the triglycerides level. That's the reason the person preferring a brown rice is often very good to opt as a healthy lifestyle. Any more questions on this? On and off, brown rice and white rice have only the little bit of calorie difference, but the content of fiber in the brown rice is more and the content of in white rice is less. That is only the difference. In a week, if at all you're adding 3 times white rice and the rest of the time if you're taking brown rice, you are in the zone of your healthy lifestyle. Okay, I have another question. In the slides of the mental health support, I talked about vitamin B12. Are not eager to know what is vitamin B12 or what you want to learn about the vitamin 12? I think I have to. You need to have one raise a question so that it can be a good interaction session for this. Waiting for your questions so that it could I can able to answer more and more, and it should be like in to and fro interaction section for the webinar. Okay, fine. I'll tell three importance of vitamin B12 in importance in our diet. If you're eating vitamin B12 foods like seafood and fish, chicken, eggs, nuts, and green leafy vegetables, and all lentils and dals. What is important role? It will help you to have gut bacteria. It will maintain your good bacteria in your diet. What is the role of good bacteria? It will help in the digestion process. It will help you in your metabolism. It will give us signals to the brain functioning. This is what the major role of vitamin B12 plays. And not only we do fast for detoxification, but sometimes vitamin B12 play a role in detoxification. What is detoxification? Eliminate the toxins. So if you're getting ample amount of vitamin B12 in your diet by adopting these foods in your daily diet, what happens? You can able to enhance a good gut health. Gut health indirectly, well-being. And well-being is nothing but having a wellness. And wellness is nothing but your mental health support. Mental health support is nothing but about your nutrition. And this is what you can able to manage your work life and health. This is what the most important, because everybody is anemic. Vitamin B12 plays a role in anemic people also, especially seen in a women's. So if you take a vitamin B12 in your diet, instead of taking the supplements, especially in a organ meat, liver is a good source of vitamin B12, and fish is a good source of vitamin B12. If you add regularly in your diet, weekly once or twice, you can able to meet your calorie requirement, and you can able to get rid of anemic issues. And I'm waiting for any other questions from your end users so that I can able to have an interaction session. You have any questions, please, on the webinar part, or talking about your own choices? I'm waiting for a nice question to have an interaction session. Waiting for a while so that I can see some question in the chat board, so that it will be a good session for the answering also to me. Okay. If at all we see the poll questions, we'll see the poll questions, how many have been answered. How often do you take vacation or extend a break from your work to relax and recharge? The answer is mostly given. Most voted persons are from rarely. So I think we need to go a short trip. I'm not saying to go for a longer trip for the work to recharge. Take a short trip also, because if you're taking short trips, might be you can able to release your happy hormones, and you can able to have a well-being life. This is what I'll be. This is my answer for this question. We need to take a short breaks also. We need to go take a to 1-2 days trip where we need to visit our hometown sometimes. This kind of having a this can enrich your life activity and well-being. And second poll question, we'll see the results. Do you feel supported to your employer maintaining the work-life balance? The most answer has come from somewhat supported. Okay, fine. But whatever it may be, if at all you're being protected, you've been prioritize your work, automatically it will be in the track. So make sure that you always be in productivity in your work. If something is you need to take an initiative on your work. If you are initiating work, and I have some question and answers in this chat board. How can I manage my job and gym at once? It depends upon the word from Aisha Jaiswal. Yes, it's a good question. If you want to manage your job and the gym, make sure that you plan for weekends according to your availability. It depends upon the what kind of work profile you have, what kind of timings you're taking. I prefer you to take a weekend so that you can able to maintain your work life balance and the gym activity also. And the next is about how can I lose weight without doing the gym? I think for this question, I have to say that 60% of diet modification is required and 40% of workout is required. It's not the gym you preferred. You can able to go for a longer walk. You can able to make sure that short-term activity for weekends and some healthy habits I mentioned in the slide, that doing some kind of workouts, like, when you're going for the grocery shop, going for the foods, going through steps, so that, footsteps, so that, it's also one kind of activity. Then this is a one kind of a step for a healthy lifestyle where you can able to lose weight. For losing weight, you need to make sure that avoid saturated foods, deep fried foods, try to inculcate good fiber in your diet as mentioned in the slide in the webinar. So if you adopt this kind of things, automatically you can have a healthy weight loss. And the third question, whatever we have seen the poll question, there is other question here. How can employees support their employees in maintaining their work-life balance? What are the benefits can this have both employee and organization? One thing, we need to make sure we are the employers. We need to balance ourselves with a work-life balance, because we need to support our hours of time in the office and hours of time in the traveling and being productive with the organization. It's little bit in the high risk of task, but if at all you're managing priorly, I think we can at least one step ahead. We need to plan. At least if at all you are missing this, make sure that next time put your calendar in a proper way, that what you are missing the before, add this, so that in this way you can able to maintain the healthy work life. At a stretch, it is not possible, but step by step, you have to make sure that being an employee, you need to make sure you're there, and automatically we get support from the employers too. And it is true that eating white rice at night causes weight gain. It depends upon the consistency what you take. I just now mentioned white rice versus brown rice. It has the same consistency. If you're eating your rice around 8 o'clock, that's no matter. But if you're actually looking for a weight loss, then try to prefer a roti, which is like, having a roti with lots of curry intake. And if you are eating white rice, try to take 1 cup of rice, add 1.5 cup of curry, add to that, so that it's a good modification. Sometimes if you're not like to eat a brown rice, you can have a 1 cup of white rice with 1.5 cup of a curry or a dal, so that the consistency should be in 1:2 ratio. Then automatically it doesn't cause any weight gain. You can able to maintain your healthy weight loss. And the stress management techniques with the emotional well-being, I always mention that time management is required. And for the mental and emotional well-being, a good diet is required. As I mentioned, vitamin B12 is required in your diet, and taking a balanced diet is required. And especially for emotional well-being, you need to have a social activity with your friends. You need to, when you find the time that you want to share something, you can have a to and fro interaction. This is how one kind of emotional bonding can be, emotional well-being can be done. Without any kind of social activity, without any kind of interaction with your, this is a good habit you need to practice, so that this is how you can able to meet your stress management. And sometimes in weekends you can plan for a yoga or a pranayama. These are the best techniques where you can able to manage your stress. And the next question is, practicing a healthy lifestyle, the same thing what I mentioned for the previous question from Dasha Jaswal, that what expert regarding the mental health practices, trying to include some Zumba dance, try to include your yoga practices, and do whatever you like, which makes you more happy. That is how the mental health practices can be given. It doesn't mean that you have to do a yoga, you have to do a pranayama. What makes you more happy, that is the most priority. Always I say in the consultation is to the client. So this is how you need to put on practice what you like the most. Add to your practice, add to your day-to-day activities, so that you can able to see the results. Are the specific habits that easily incorporate in your daily routine to promote better health? See, habits are your own habits. The habits has to get modified from your end. In the webinar, I've been explaining about the habits change, like limiting the sugary content, avoiding alcohol consumption, try to inculcate good fiber in your diet, try to stay hydrated. These are the better habits you need to change. Habits can be changed until unless you put in a practice, you prioritize your goal. So habits can be added in your routine according to your work profile. How good to have food 2 times a day? It depends upon your metabolism. See, we say 3 times a meal in a day. One is breakfast, lunch, and dinner. If you're skipping breakfast, that means you're going to prefer a brunch. But as a nutritionist, I can tell that you have to take 3 meals in a day, like breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Make sure that from breakfast you get at least 280 to 300 calories, and for the lunch 400 to 420 calories, and for your dinner you need to make 400 calories approximately. The snacks should be lesser the 200 calories. If at all you count everything, your calories should be like 200 calories, because when you have a cheat meal in a weekend, that is add on to your diet. So rather taking 2 times a day in a food, take 3 meals, divide yourself, divide your composition of the food, so that you can be able to lead a healthy lifestyle. What are some dietary habits, practices that help prevent burnout and promote mental clarity and focus? As I mentioned in the slides, like mental stability and the focus, we need to make sure that lifestyle habits, doing the practice routine of the activity, goal oriented, time oriented, these are the things you need to adopt. You need to set a priority for this. Then only you can able to make sure your mental well-being will be in the track. And some dietary habits, I said the fiber for the female 28 grams and the male 32 grams. So these are the things to be added in your habit. Then you can able to balance each and everything. And the same question has been repeated, so the same answer for that also. How can an employee support their employee? This is the thing I have been answered. And the last question, this is a question, it's a very interesting question. Can you tell me some healthy snacks options that can be easily consumed while sitting at desk or working at a computer? See, everybody like to eat a junk food or a deep fried foods. I knew that. In this time, you can able to prefer a fruit, because a fruit is always better to take at the snack item, like evening 4 o'clock, in between 4 to 5. Because when you take vitamin C fruits, you can able to build up your immunity. If you're preferring fruits, you can able to take 4 to 5. For the snacks, you can able to include some kind of Indian murku in a not in a regular basis, because they are very good, because it has a very good amount of healthy nutrients in this. And second thing, you can prefer makhana, roasted makhana. If you're not able to get makhana in the market, you can have a sprouts, you can have a fruit, you can have a nuts. These are the things you can able to add in your healthy snack. And the same answer for this also, like, can you share examples for stress relief techniques that have worked for you in a professional environment? Taking a short breaks and taking a long breath in between, like closing your eyes for 2 seconds, limiting your screen time. Especially if you want to have a professional environment, you have to cut down, limit your screen time, close your eyes for a while, for 2 seconds, because it will help you to restore your energy. And technique is nothing but taking long breath in between, and if you take a short breaks, I think this is the much more example. Because, and once again, we need to back to the place and back to the pavilion for the work. So if you keep on practicing this way, and I think the latest trend is that soleus push-ups. When you're sitting on the chair, we can do some soleus push-ups. I think I'll be at the end of the webinar, I'll be sharing the link on that also. Soleus push-ups are nothing but it will make you stress relief from your professional environment, and indirectly you can able to maintain your sedentary lifestyle. With this, you can make some active step for your sedentary lifestyle. And the last question is about by Ajit. What advice do you have for incorporating healthy eating habits into the hectic work routine? See, as enough mentioned in the slides, I've been talking about the healthy eating habits. Healthy eating habits nothing but giving a balanced diet to your meal, and not missing your breakfast in the morning, because that is what all will do in a hectic work routine, by missing the breakfast. That should not be done, because when you want to incorporate a healthy eating habit, you need to make sure that you should not skip your breakfast, stay hydrated, include 2 times of fruits in your meal. And other thing is that lots of greeny vegetables. Whatever you're eating, a lean protein or a meat, make sure that it's a combination cooking, so that you can able to have an adoption to the healthy eating habits. And especially there is a last question, how important of meal planning, and what strategies can help them to prepare a healthy meal planning. See, healthy, every individual have a different meal planning, because every individual have the different weight and height. According to the meal planning, we have to know the basic details. But in general, I want to tell the meal planning can be like, protein, carb, and fat. This is a combination of meal planning. And if at all in the breakfast, you need to take the combination of protein and cereal. This is a combination. And if I could talk about the lunch, you need to take fiber content, protein, fiber, and good amount of fat, and low fat curds. So this is the thing you need to plan for your meal planning. And for the dinner, as usual, whatever the preferring for the lunch, that will be go on. But for the meal planning, you need to know the calories according to what kind of how much calories you have to maintain. And especially when you want to when you want to know the strategies, you need to I need to know we need to know on the workout pattern also. For example, meal planning is equal to workout plan. For example, you're burning 200, if you're taking 1500 calories in the meal planning, you need to burn at least 200 to 250 calories in a day. That is how the balancing meal can be done. And this is how you can able to this strategy can help you to maintain a healthy meal planning in advance. If you're maintaining the consistency on this, you'll be less prone to the chronic conditions. You are making the sedentary lifestyle active, and you're making your overall focus on your priorities. This is what I can able to tell. But end of the day, we are the own gadgets for the organs. We are the own gadgets for our work profession, so we need to be more pro in this. So in this, I want to talk about the next the fit Indian slide. What is the importance of the fit Indian in this? When I talk about the gadgets, the fit Indian is the platform where we are here to help you with the lifestyle modification and giving a lifestyle coach and giving the customized diet plan. So we have some trackers like health score, diet and workout plans, track your health, and nutrition support. And you to know the more details on this, you can log into our more details for www.thefitindian.com. And we are in social platforms like Insta, Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. So for more queries, you can have a question in the chat board so that I can able to share the link of the Fit Indian. And as a nutritionist, as a complete full-time advisor for the Fit Indian, I can able to give you the customized diet plans and workout plans also. So any more queries on the chat board? Okay, there is another question. Because see, as in a full-time health nutritionist for the Fit Indian, I want to tell you one thing. Whatever the step you're taking it should be in a proper way. It should be in the consistency. I think this is the best question in the today's webinar. What is the best timing for intermittent fasting? See, intermittent fasting is like a fasting. It's like a 8 hours fasting or 16 hours fasting. It depends upon your age criteria also. If you are less than 20 or less than 25, the timings of intermittent fasting will be different. If you're practicing 8 hours of intermittent fasting or 16 hours intermittent fasting, whatever the target you have, it depends upon the choice. I think for this, you need to consult a nutritionist, take a customized diet plan, or give a customized consultation so that you can get a good answer for this. So waiting for some more questions so that we can have a good interaction session for this. I have a small tip on this. The question given by the question raised by Ajit, like what advice do you have for incorporating healthy eating habits into the hectic work routine? Sometimes, yeah, in the hectic routine, you are like having your late dinners, or you're skipping your lunch. At this time, instead of preferring a rice item, try to prefer a roti or a jawar ki roti, makke ki roti, whatever. What these are the good kind of millets in our diet. I think a very it's a very good advice from the nutritionist from me, because you need to maintain your healthy eating habits. So this is how, if at all you put in a practice, you can able to make up your hectic work routine, and indirectly you are staying healthy of this. There is another question. What is the best beverage? What are the best beverage choices for staying hydrated apart from water during a busy workout? See, the best beverage is, like, water is the best beverage resource in the world. Why? Because water is the only one source. It activates all your organs. It detoxifies. It has a major benefits. It detoxifies your body. It helps the brain functioning. As I mentioned, that every organ has a water content. The body itself has a 60 to 70% of water. So water is only the best source. Apart from that, you want to add something else in the busy workout. Try to inculcate your any juice with the pulp. That is the best thing. Or prefer a coconut water. That is the best thing. Another thing, instead of having a beverage, try to take a whole fruit. That is the best part, because if you're taking, instead of preferring a beverage, if your choice is having a whole fruit, you are getting a proper nutritions in that, and you can able to get a good amount of hydration to your organs. And especially if your whole one fruit keeps a doctor away. This is what the mantra you have to follow for this. There is another question in the chat board. Can fasting be considered a beneficially practice for promoting overall health and well-being? To some extent, it is like half of the person is well. It's a well-being, but other 50%, if at all you have some other health conditions like PCOD, thyroid, diabetes, or you are proning for the glucostol, like gut health disturbances. So in this, for gut health disturbances, fasting is a major step where you can able to improve your gut health. But one thing, when you are like prone to diabetic or prone to hypertension, for this, fasting is not recommended. You need to make sure that you have to take a short meals, so that for a overall well-being, especially if you have a gut disturbances, if you have any kind of, like, you're you are not getting a proper probiotic. Probiotic is nothing but what you're getting from the outer source of the food. For example, curd is there. Curd is a probiotic source. If you're drinking in the form of buttermilk, or if you're taking the form of curd, that will make your gut health culture in a proper way. If you're not getting this kind of probiotic, fasting is a one process where it will help you to the overall health being. Especially if you have this kind of disturbances, fasting is good. Apart from that, make sure that you have your well balanced meal, and try to include two meals in a proper way, and a breakfast and fruits and everything in your diet. Which is preferable option? Skipping breakfast or dinner? Sometimes skipping dinner is preferable, because if you are overloaded, if you're full packed with your lunch, that time the skipping dinner is good. Instead of having a whole meal, you can replace your dinner with a salad bowl. That is what. But never skip your breakfast. As I mentioned in the first of the discussion of the webinar, breakfast is a energy fuel to your body and your brain functioning. Don't forget that. Breakfast, the meaning itself is breaking the fast of the morning, because from almost night 12 noon to morning 7 a.m., we are not eating anything. We are making a body to fast. In that time, your organs are working. So to break that fast and make your fuel organs to rework again. So this breakfast will help us to give us energy. So don't skip your breakfast. If you want to avoid skip the dinner, sometimes occasionally okay. In that place, you can place a bowl of vegetable bowl, or any kind of your snack, healthy, whatever you want to eat of your choice. But skipping breakfast is not suggestible. Skipping dinner sometimes about your work schedule and your as an option. And last question, how can individual make healthier food choices when dining out with colleagues or friends afterward? Here I want to tell about the social activity and mental well-being. Here you need to make a smart choice, like when you are in the social activity for dining out, start with a healthy soup. It might be any vegetarian or non-vegetarian soup. Start with your soup. Try to have your meal slower so that you can able to cope up the rest of the meal also. You can able to add to your gut to stomach the rest meal. And other thing is that make sure that you're selecting a starter is more important when you make a healthier thing. First, soup is required in your dining table. The next thing, a good head starter, make sure that it's not a deep fried. Try to take a grilled one. Occasionally, if you're taking any kind of starch or deep fried, that is okay. But try to prefer a grilled one so that is like, making a healthy choice. And rest of the thing you can able to manage. And on the plate, salad is required. If you're able to fulfill your stomach with soup, salad, and any grilled snack, this is the way where you can able to make a healthier food choices with your friends. But sometimes cheating meal, sometimes enjoying with your colleagues, okay, but make sure that that has to be replaced for the next meal, so that you can able to make sure your calorie has been cut down for the next day meal. If that all you're putting in this practice, you can able to enjoy your social well-being and your social activity too. Can alcohol consumption, there's another question from the user, how can alcohol consumption affect decision making and problem solving skills in a work environment? See, it is up to you, but as in thing nutrition, I can tell you that alcohol consumption is completely restricted. It's a very good to avoid an alcohol consumption. On and off, if you're not moderating yourself with alcohol consumption, might be you have to make sure that how much ml you're recommending, what kind of brand you're using there, that's most important. But as a nutrition, I can say alcohol is not the problem solving skill in your environment. It is only like a social activity. It is just skipping from the problem, that's it. But make sure that it should be in a moderate consumption, or I say completely avoid it. And there is another question. There is another question in the chat board. How can stress or burnout contribute to alcohol consumption? And what healthy coping mechanism can professional adopt instead? Yes, we do say that by drinking alcohol, there is a burnout and there is a stress relief. But do you think by keeping a regular practice on alcohol, do you think it gives a social well-being, or it's a problem solving, as why we see the previous question what we had? But I always recommend to take a moderate of alcohol intake. And if you're avoiding alcohol also, it's more better to have a well-being, because today the webinar topic is about the well-being. Try to balancing the management of time. So if you want to goal oriented, make sure that you moderate your alcohol intake and stay fit and stay happy. There is another question like spices versus non-veg. See, there is spices have their own role in the diet, and non-veg has a own role in the diet. So if you're maintaining the consistency of non-veg, you'll be in a healthy zone. And spices are very good of anti-inflammatory agent. Let's do add it in your regular diet. End of the webinar. I want to delegate all the delegates a warm thank you from your end. And if you have any queries, so we'll come up with the two trendy topics for the next webinar, so that if you have any suggestions, if you want to have any other topic from the Fit Indian, so that we can able to cover the topic and we'll have a good interaction session. And once again, I want to thank you for your participation and thank you for the patience but to listening for the webinar. And much more greetings from the Fit Indian nutritionist Manoja Kalakanti. Thank you.